Hey, what's going on, guys? AllGamer here, and today we're doing another JoJo review because I can't upload anything else on my channel. We're doing part 2 this time because my JoJo reviews keep on getting attention, and I like attention because I'm clearly that sort of person. So it's been three weeks since I uploaded the part 1 review. Didn't do as well as part 5, but I don't care about that. I love JoJo, we're doing this anyway. And this time, we're joined by a special person who may have seen before, I don't know. It's HeresyLlama, also JoJo fan. You can say hi now.
Hi, I'm here.
Yes, you exist. Congratulations. So, as I said, we both like JoJo. So we thought we'd do this. We both agreed before rewatching it. Part 2 was our favourite. So, why not?
But we are still reading the manga, so it may change.
Yeah, but anime. I do anime on here, not manga. So, we'll start this as we always do, with just an overview of the story and our just general opinions first. I'll let you go first, since you're the guest, and I'm nice.
I do like how it kind of escalated from vampires and gave us a bit more backstory on the stone mask. That's probably one of my favourite parts.
That is pretty epic.
So, generally with the escalation from vampires to pillar men, and one thing that I don't like to go with it is how Santana was kind of just forgotten.
Yeah, and actually before recording this, I grabbed the pictures of every character we use, and we were talking about who we should talk about, and you said Santana. I was like, who's that? And that just shows how unfortunately weak his character stability was, I suppose.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll just explain for anyone who hasn't seen the part what is actually going on. So, HeresyLlama mentioned Pillarmen. These are the creators of the Stone Mask seen in part 1. And we follow Joseph Joestar this time. I wonder why it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And his goal is to defeat the Pillarmen. And we meet a load of cool characters along the way. And we see some more Hammon. Harmon sounds cooler. And obviously it ends with JoJo winning, just not in the way you expect, because Kars, the leader of the Pillarman, gets the Redstone of Arja and becomes that one villain where he's like, the hero comes up with something, but then the villain's like, haha, I have a solution for that. And then keep on repeating until he freezes himself in space.
Yes, space.
Yes. So, in terms of what I thought, it's just cool, okay? Like, I don't need to go into any details. It's just amazing. Obviously, we see the superior examples of German science in this part as well.
Yes, the superior.
German
we still
science.
By that being the style of von Stroheim in Eyes of Heaven.
Yes, the prime example of superior German science. But anyway, we'll talk about him later. I like how, in Stardust Crusaders, which will be the next one I do, probably a lot longer though, because there are, 50 episodes, did I say? Or 40, something close to that.
I think there's 50-ish.
Yeah, 50 episodes, so that's going to take a lot longer to watch, probably after Christmas I'll do that video. They travel across the world very quickly, skip over everything. They do that in part 2, don't get me wrong, but we also get a feel for everything, kind of. We go to a lot of places in Italy, we visit Switzerland.
And the scene with them in the car early on with the Caesar in the German driving is, according to my parents, accurate to Italian driving.
Oh yes, Italian. Yeah, so It's all accurate, it's all epic. We get introduced to the world. We're not in Britain, so the places we go to are America, Italy, Switzerland. I think that's it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm pretty sure that's it.
they seem to move except for... Well, they try and move locations, but obviously Part 5's in Italy, Part 4's in Japan. But first 3 parts, they try and move us across the world, which is pretty epic.
Okay, just to stay with Part 3, there are 48 episodes.
Okay, 48. Close enough to 50. Yeah, that will take me a while. But yeah, it's just really good. Granted, my thoughts on it did weaken having rewatched it, but I'll definitely explain as to why that is when we're talking about Joseph, because I think it's strongly shown with him. And speaking of, we'll go do that now. So
Okay.
let me just do the thing. Alright, here we are, Joseph Joestar, the peak of immortality. You know this guy, he's been attacked by vampires, blasted into space, chopped his own hand off.
Slit his wrist in Part 4, but that's a later thing.
Well, that's what I meant by chop his hand off, but I forgot it didn't go all the way, but anyway. This guy can survive anything, you need to remember that. But
He is
also...
actually canonically confirmed to still be alive in Part 6.
So, yeah, there we are, he's immortal. Now, his main thing, other than his, comedic style of battle, is his, your next line is, say the line, then the villain will say the line, it's like, NANI? Well.
He's also known for in combat his trickery.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean by his... Yeah, so... You elaborate on it better than I
He
could.
kind of ahead of his opponent. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's his thing. He's smart in a smart way.
He acts stupid, but is actually smart.
Yes, that's the best way to put it. And
But at the same time, he's stupid.
Yeah, so... Going into this part, me, HeresyLlama, and that other friend I've been talking about across this series, we're always on about Joseph's style, like I just mentioned, the prediction thing, and the Pillar Man theme. Can I just say the music?
It is crisp.
Yeah. And I was expecting it to be all the time, Pillar Man on screen, Pillar Man theme. Almost every episode, JoJo doing a prediction thing that's always so cool. But that didn't happen often, and that kind of disappointed me. But at the same time, I think the reason we say it happens so often is just because it's so great. And I think the thrill of the first watch is what makes this part amazing. Because of the unpredictability of the characters.
Yeah, it's left a lasting impression.
Yeah, so I would say if you have high hopes for this part, don't rewatch it. If for whatever reason you didn't like this part, rewatch it until you like it and then don't rewatch it. Because what I've done, I don't know if this is the same for everyone, but I've built up, Pillarman theme all the time, Von Stroheim being the best character all the time, JoJo being incredibly intelligent, yes, technically all the time anyway, but all the time. Rewatching it, I realised that didn't happen as often, so that kind of disappointed me a bit, but...
Joestar that kind of sums up his intelligence. He's very clever, in tricking people, but he can't do basic maths, shown when he tries to figure out how old Lisa Lisa is from the fact that she was a baby 50 years ago, which just...
The brain. Yes. Intelligence. Anyway, I've kind of just gone on why I don't like the part. We need to actually talk about Joseph. And I feel like you should start again, because you seem to be better at this than me.
Well, like we've said about Joseph's style in trickery in the fights. Joseph's Harmon is quite powerful, although at the beginning he's not a master of it.
Yes, but he's very good at drinking Coke, so I like him for that.
At the beginning, he compensates for his inability to properly control his Harmon with trickery, and like just being clever in certain situations, such as the cola bottle and the wooden pillar thing that he used on the racist.
Yes. We don't like racist. Black Lives Matter, remember that.
We don't like racist. That is a collective opinion of everyone in this call and probably in both of our houses.
And most places on the planet. Hopefully.
If you are racist, please leave.
Yes. Anyway, yes.
You're preferably to the planet.
Yeah, it's fun seeing his growth. He goes from cheap tricks with Harmon and cleverness to amazing tricks with Harmon and keeping that cleverness along the way. He never drops that trickery just because he's got such amazing Harmon. He always keeps that trickery, but we see his abilities grow and he's able to do more insane things, such as the rope thing in the final battle with cars.
Yeah.
And I'm actually surprised how powerful his clanger volley was when he hit Wamu in the head. That tore a hole in him. That was very powerful.
Like, given how Harmon reacts with vampires and given it was a ball-shaped projectile, it does make sense that it kind of left a groove in his head.
Yeah, but at the same time, with how weak his Harmon had been shown to be, I'm surprised he could rip a hole in his head. Like, regardless of whether the object was metal or anything, because it didn't like just rip his head off, it left the Harmon scar, so you know, it just impressed me in that part. But it's also nice to see him grow as like an actual person, because obviously he comes off as quite uncaring and also really weird. I'm scared about his relationships with women, but anyway. To like we see in Caesar's death, big oofs, that he does actually care, and it's good seeing that part come out near the end when it should. It just adds to the likability of his character.
It does. Although one thing, definitely never get on a plane with him.
Yes. Otherwise it's probably going to end up in the ocean. That's why he took a boat in part 4. He just,
yes, it is.
He just knows what happens when he goes on a plane.
Okay, so are we going to move on or continue with Joseph?
I think we've said everything. So now we're going to talk about Caesar. Okay, here he is, the bubble slinger, the Italian, the Zeppeli. These guys are good at dying. Yes. These guys are good at dying in the most ridiculous ways. And what's just sad about Caesar is the critical hit. You told me this, so you explain what the critical hit is.
Yeah. One sec. My mic being a bit funny. Okay, I've completely forgotten. You're gonna have to say it.
Honestly. So when the stone lands on him, it's in the shape of a cross. And that just makes it even worse. The critical hit. That's an oof. But again, same with the likability thing. We seem to hate everyone at the start, but then like, oh yeah, these guys are actually cool. Well, actually, yeah. Anyway, he's at the start he's arrogant, a womanizer, I suppose, or like ladies' man.
He's not got the best personality traits at the start.
But later, when you learn about his backstory with the Pillar Men, and obviously when the German driver dies after being just walked into,
just instantly dies.
Obviously, all these characters need to appear as just cold-hearted to scare the enemies, but they all have their caring underside. Even Lisa has the strongest facade of them all, breaks down at Caesar's death, so...
Yeah.
While appearing cold, they all actually are human, and I think that connects with us as the audience, because it's like these guys are hiding themselves just to win, I suppose. Like, if your enemy knows you're basically just a big teddy bear, then
obviously you're gonna get treated like one.
Yeah, exactly. Which sometimes could be an advantage, but they'll most likely just beat you up. But if you appear stone cold, and you might even intimidate them a bit, which... Yeah, I mean, it is really a battle tendency, isn't it? To appear cold. I'm hilarious, can't you tell? Also, this is the first time we kind of see really specialised Harmon. In part 1, we obviously see like the Sunlight Yellow Overdrive and the sword. But this is the first time we see really specialised Harmon with the bubble launcher. And
it's clear that he mastered his method.
Yeah, but it also shows that Harmon isn't just this tool; it is your own thing. Because obviously, Joseph, while it's actually scaringly effective, jokingly makes the clacker volley. And then Caesar has the more optimal bubble launcher. And then
it's still really funny that he uses bubbles.
Yes. Oh yes, danger. Oh god, look out for the soap. Oh god. Oh no, it's soap containing air. Yeah, it's weird choice, but good to show that Harmon is specialised. Do you want to talk about his backstory and...
Yeah, I will go over his backstory. Just to give a quick summary, in his backstory, after the death of Baron von Zeppeli, not immediately after, like a bit after when the news reached his family, his father left to continue in his footsteps, and but Caesar didn't know this. Caesar just thought he abandoned them to live with someone else and something like that. So Caesar went into crime and committed every crime short of murder, which is actually a phrase that most people misunderstand. It means he committed every crime that isn't as bad as murder.
Yeah, so he didn't commit everything other than murder, but he committed everything less than murder, which I don't... That tells us he still has a good heart, really, because if you live a crime of life, especially in Italy, you're going to have to kill someone at some point, surely. Like, they say even the Mafia feared him and he'd killed no one. Which is strange, but...
Well, he had probably severely assaulted people, but I don't think anybody attacked actually died. And I think that's the key part.
And then obviously later, the incidents with the Pillar Men. And we don't actually see any of Mario's Harmon, sorry.
No, he get grabbed by a load of strings.
Oh yes, string. Was it Wami who killed him, or Cars?
No, he was just absorbed by the Pillar Men while they were resting.
Yeah, I know, but which one was holding the diamond? Because I feel like that one should be accountable.
I think it was Cars.
Yeah, exactly. So Caesar has some beef with Cars. It's a shame we never got to see that through.
Yes, unfortunately,
Yeah. And it's kind of weird, because, like, the Pillar Men have... I know we should really be talking about this at the Pillar Men, but, it's weird, they have rankings, but as Wamu says after killing Caesar, there is a slim chance Cars could have actually killed Caesar. And then I find it highly unlikely that Caesar could have killed Acidice, but he could have killed Wamu and Cars because just Acidice's range.
I think it was situational because of the abilities of Caesar combined with a matchup of the abilities of the Pillarmen.
Yeah, it is so. I'd say generally Cars is well, actually. You see, it's funny because Cars seems insane until he's meant to be insane. Like when he invades the German. You know what? Let's talk about this when we get to Cars, which will be in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Is that all on Caesar? Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
I don't think I have anything else about Caesar.
Alright, we are now going to go on to Lisa or Elizabeth Joestar.
One of the best characters in JoJo, I'd say.
Yes, here we are. Lisa. We're not going to talk about that episode where Acidice does the brain thing, so...
It's weird. We don't want to talk about it.
Don't worry about that. So we obviously don't learn she's Joseph's mother until the end, when Smokey says it. Which they just say is such a throwaway line, and yet... Oh my god, it's not throwaway, but it's just said so casually, it's not like a big reveal, really. It's
like
just...
I've said, and with the age thing, and but both to do with her, it shows off a bit of her, and how, much knowledge he has from how long she's lived, and a bit of Joseph, given how he's not the best in some things.
Yes.
Mainly basic maths.
Also, with her... I know she's 50, but I'm going to say beauty anyway, because she's meant to be. It just shows the power of Harmon and how much she's mastered it, really, because any Harmon master, we can safely assume Tom Petty was at least 150. Easily. With how old he looked, but Straitzer only starts aging at 75, so... we can safely assume he's 150. It shows what the Masters of Harmon can do, and she's just with the fight with the zombie that I can't even remember the name of.
I don't know his name either.
Actually, I think it's Wix. I think that's his name. She just walks past him. Obviously she does give him the Harmon, but she just does everything so coolly. I think that's the only time we actually see her fight. Properly.
Well, no, we see her emptying the car fight, but Cars resorts to trickery of just not... pretty much, he counters the fight by not being in the fight to start with. Genius!
Yeah, so... And then again, we see, obviously that zombie's nowhere near as smart as Cars, but... Still, we see... It takes 2 fights and we already know she's 10 times better than JoJo. Just from her style. Obviously JoJo ends up killing Cars. I assume... it's safe to say I think JoJo's smarter in the heat of battle, but she's generally wiser. I think that's a safe assumption. Because I imagine she wouldn't have come up with the whole space thing. I know JoJo didn't really come up with the whole space thing, but...
Yeah, I think that was just a lot of luck.
Well, I don't think she would have come up with the volcano thing. That doesn't seem like her style.
No. She probably would have had a less destructive method.
Yeah, she's just very clean in that way. She, Wix doesn't destroy it. She does the minimum to kill someone. Whereas Joseph and Caesar are just I am not resting until every atom of your body is gone.
I do think that is one of the things that is good about her character and frightening. She knows how much she has to do to end a zombie's life or something. She's mastered these Harmon and how it's used in combat.
Yeah, so as you just said, it shows how good she is at it. And again, it also shows she has experience with this kind of stuff, because I imagine with the, it's not explicitly said, but with the zombie that killed George II, I imagine she destroyed that, like, utterly. And probably hadn't mastered Harmon at that point. Like, knew it, but not to the level she did at 50. So that kind of just reflects there. She's also gained much better control of her emotions. Like, it takes the death of one of her oldest trainees to break her nowadays, whereas I imagine she was pretty broken at the death of her husband.
Well, it was very clear since out of rage she, like, pretty much got inside of what I presume a place that had have some guards, annihilated a zombie, and yeah, she was noticed, but she did manage to escape.
Yeah, so while she's always been good, like, she's definitely gained much more emotional control over being, like, is it called, like, Heresyllama Island or something?
Yeah, Heresyllama Island.
Heresyllama Island. On her time on there, she's definitely been doing...
dedicate a small amount to that island.
Oh yeah, it's pretty epic. Very beautiful.
I mean, just to talk about it for a second.
Yeah. Spike pit.
Well, it is very clear that a lot of it has been, like, assembled to work as a Harmon training ground.
Yeah, so it's safe to assume either it is an old Harmon training ground or she designed the island and Speedwagon sorted it out.
I mean, like, Caesar and JoJo's, like, final test arenas on the Caesar's, which is on that rope, and that is clear that you use Harmon to balance yourself and keep yourself on the rope while fighting, and the spikes you use Harmon to move across them.
Yeah. I don't know how Harmon protects you from being stabbed, but anyway. Yes, it is clear that she's definitely had some input, and it is like her own home, like a personalised house. And also, like, we didn't see many trainees on there. We see Logs and Messina, who we will talk about later. But even then, like, Caesar says no one survived Hellclimb Pillar, like loads of people have tried, so that just adds to our experience.
My question is, how do they clean up? Because if people don't survive it, the bodies are at the bottom. Is there a secret route down there to clean up with the bodies?
I mean, she's probably so good she just walks down there, picks them up, and then...
Yeah, but it'd just be a bit awkward.
Yeah, I know. She can probably do some sort of Harmon super jump, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. To be honest. Shame they gave up on Hammond after this point. I mean...
Yeah.
Older Joseph uses it a bit, but not to the extent that we'd like. We don't learn any more about it. But at the same time, stands are definitely not a bad thing, so I'm not really sad it's gone.
Yeah. I enjoy stands as a concept more than Harmon, personally.
Yeah, I don't see how they could have kept on going with Harmon, but that's for the Part 3 review. So, speaking of, like, since it's going to take so long to make the video, if you want HeresyLlama to join for all the JoJo reviews, we've got 2 left. And then we'll do Part 6, 7, 8 when they're anime. Comments are right down there, along with the like button if you want to hit that, and the subscribe button. I'm not telling you, but, like, please. Shameless plug. Yeah, they are down there. It's only a click.
There's definitely no reason why you're mentioning this. It's completely out. It's completely, like...
Yeah, but... do comment down below if you want HeresyLlama to do the rest of these, because he's good at this. If you can't tell, he knows what he's talking about.
Actually, my first time doing like a proper review of something like this, so I'm entirely winging this.
Yeah, but you're pretty good at winging it, so that's very epic. Anyway, I think we've said all about Lisa, really.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, so we're going to do the Pillarmen in rank order, so we're going to start with Wamu.
No, I thought we would start him with Santana because he is technically still a Pillar Man.
Okay, we'll start with Santana then.
Even though he does kind of just get slid out of the story, he does technically exist.
Alright. Here he is. They treated him really badly in the anime. He has perfect skin and blonde hair in the manga, and I don't know why they changed it, but anyway.
Yeah.
Only in 2 episodes? 1 episode?
Let me check. I think he's in 2.
2 episodes. 2. So, minor character. He is a pillar man, but he's not a pillar man, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he's just pulled apart from the group, really, which...
Pretty much to quote Cars, he's just a well-trained guard dog.
Yeah, so... Just to, like... They clearly split off before they went into sleep or whatever, because he was found in Mexico, and the other 3 were found in Italy at the same place. So there must have been an argument that went on there or something.
Well, actually, I think he was just guarding that small collection of stone masks. I think that's why he was there.
Okay, but either way, I think that slightly infers they didn't like him. I mean, Cars obviously says guard dog, but he's definitely apart from the group. He's by no means the strongest, but we definitely see... He's the one that gives us the most powers. Like, he shows the most Pillarman powers.
Yeah, he shows off quite a bit, with things like the rib blades.
Yeah, that's like his special technique. Like, we have the burning fire cage and the divine sandstorm. That's his thing.
And for some... It's funny, you think it'd be kind of an element thing with, like, wind, fire, and then it just goes chainsaw.
Yeah. I mean, it is a chainsaw that bends light, though. So...
Yeah, but it's still really funny.
Yeah, so we never got to learn what elements Santana controlled, because they weren't bothering with elements at that point. He was just kind of like big rubber man who can eat people.
Well, he did... I mean, they all kind of are rubbery, but Santana showed it off, like, a lot more of...
Yeah, it's almost like he's... it's almost like he's especially rubbery. Which is weird.
Well, that appears to be... It may have been what he trained in, manoeuvring his body, because he did do it a lot. I mean, especially escaping that chamber, he just decided to go all pancake on us.
Yeah. He decided, what if I just left the 3rd dimension? How does that sound?
But some of his abilities, like that weird meat ripper ability, are weird but fascinating at the same time. Yeah, so
I'd say his element is biology, if that makes sense. Just his abilities just shows
the 4 elements.
Yeah, he has like the 4 elements.
Wind, fire, chainsaw, and biology.
Oh yes, classic. But yeah, his powers all relate to mastery of his own body. So he's kind of like the bridge between... So it's almost like if a vampire mastered his powers, he'd become a pillar man. That's obviously not how it works, but...
No.
This guy kind of has that bridge. Because we don't... Like, it's weird. I don't exactly know how the pillar men work, because... It's said in the backstory of Cars that they were an ancient race of people, then Cars used a mask to give himself unbelievable power.
So, what I think is, originally they were quite powerful with, like, their absorbing, but I think the abilities like the bone blades came from the mask.
Yeah, that sounds right. So, you still become a pillar man through the mask, but you have to be not human. It's almost like the stone mask produces different things for different species.
Although it does appear to make vampire horses. I mean, can we just take a minute to think about the stone masks but shaped to fit on a horse?
Would you just, like, make a really flat one, put it on the front of the horse's head, and then just... Or would you just place it so the I don't know what to call them, like the ribs, going to the horse's brain. Like, do you think cars are specially made horse masks?
I don't know, and it kind of upsets me that I don't know.
I mean, he might have just turned a human into a vampire and then used vampiric acids to do it, but either way. Vampire
I still
horse
like
masks.
the idea of vampire masks for horses better.
Yes, that is a much better idea. I like it too. But yeah, there's not really much to say on him. Like, he doesn't really speak, whereas, so he's definitely, if he's dumb, I think, maybe. Either that or he's a silent killer. Either way,
No,
the other pillar men seem to express much more intellect and more fighting capabilities, I'd say.
yeah, but he does demonstrate his intelligence with him disassembling that gun, or he does have a few lines, and his strategies are clever.
Yeah, but we can safely say he's the weakest of the pillar men. That's easy to say. He's almost like vampire, him, actual pillar man. Obviously, he is an actual pillar man, but he's kind of like that midpoint.
I have an idea. I imagine that he was more treated as a guard dog, like Carl stated. He was given orders. He wasn't spoken to. He was just given orders.
That would make sense. So yeah, I don't think... Yeah, not much to talk about him, so do you have anything else to say? Obviously, I couldn't really remember him, so... This was more your bit, but yeah. Alright, now we're doing Wamu. Where's the thing? Alright. Wamu, let's go. Alright. I think he's my favourite Wamu. I think he's my favourite pillar man.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah.
I like Wamu.
I like his whole proud warrior type, which also makes me hate cars later, which I love. His abilities seem to be the most thought out, I'd say, because cars, chainsaw, cars' thing is like, I'm sure if I can rip it apart, it'll die. Acidity is like, I can melt it. And then Wamu, like the Divine Sandstorm.
I bend my arms really fast.
Yeah, but I feel like his abilities are most thought out for actual strategic use, because Acidity and cars are just so naturally strong, they don't need to think about what their ability is. But Wamu, being, I assume, naturally with no training, the weakest of the three, but with the training, actually probably one of the strongest.
I agree.
Yeah, so he fights Caesar twice and JoJo twice. Obviously wins 3 of those and then loses to JoJo. And one thing that spans across the Pillar Men is, I don't know if it's just like they're trying to make the Pillar Men not seem invincible, but they seem so much stronger when we first meet them. Like, with Wamu, because he's the one who first breaks out of the pillar, he sticks all those guys' hands together and then drains all of their organs and skeletons and stuff. And then later, wind.
Well, actually, I think the reason that is because of the Harmon. Like with the Santana fight, when Santana will try and absorb JoJo, he couldn't.
Yeah, so are you talking just that example or just their general powers? Like,
well, yeah, it's just their general powers, such as like the whole liquid, making all of those soldiers into liquid. It wouldn't work the same because of the Harmon, and that's the major difference.
Yeah, I think you're right there. But at the same time, someone who doesn't think about it, like me, that is a bit weird. Like, obviously, I should have thought of that. I call myself a JoJo fan. I don't actually think about any of the lore. Yeah, so their advantages over normal humans are so much greater than their advantages over Harmon users. And
Yeah.
obviously they've come up with methods of defeating Harmon. Well, no. Wamu has, because he actually uses his brain. Kaz and Acidus are just like, I can stab you, you know, and I can stab you pretty hard.
Kaz is just, haha, chainsaw and go brrr.
Yeah, exactly. Wamu's actually thought about how to defeat Harmon, so good for him. So, as I said, he seems to be like the most intelligent and the most like he's actually trying. Whereas I feel Kaz and Acidus, had they tried 10,000 years ago, maybe would have been unbeatable in part 2, but they didn't try, which led to Joseph doing the whole haha sunlight with rhythmic breathing go insert Harmon breathing noise.
But also, one thing to add with the Wamu and Caesar fight, Wamu did get lucky in that fight, because if Caesar hadn't have done the jump and made the shadow, Caesar could have simply walked around him and attacked from behind, which would have killed him, because he would have been, you know, restrained by the sunlight.
Yeah, so it's like, I feel like we should have talked about this with Caesar, but we forgot about it. Caesar's death shows that you have to be perfect to fight these guys, even with master level training. One mistake and you die fighting these. Because obviously the shadow freeing Wamu, allowing a divine sandstorm. But I also like that he lets the bubble go. It's kind of like, you know what, bro? You almost killed me. I respect you for that, which is weird, but either way.
Hey, some people have interesting opinions.
Okay. I'm gonna let you save your friend. I am about to head out.
Oh, that does bring up a question. Do you think that JoJo would have won without that bubble?
Oh yeah, because it gave him extra Harmon.
And also Caesar's bandana, which he used, and the lip ring.
Oh yeah. He might. No, he's Joseph. I feel like not having the bandana, he would have come up with something else.
Yeah.
So I feel like he would have still won. Yeah. So without the bandana, he still would have won. Without the extra Harmon. I'm just trying to think. If the fight played out the same but with weaker Harmon, he still would have been able to control the horses. It just depends on cutting his arms off with the divine sandstorm and the shotgun bolt. Crossbow.
I think he would have had to rely more on trickery for that, without the extra Harmon.
So I feel like crossbow bolt would have done the same, because most of that came from the actual ball. But the arms, he might have had to do something a bit more clever, as you said, to do that.
Yeah.
But I reckon he still would have won, yeah. It's just having Caesar there with him just made it more JoJo, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just made it more JoJo.
So if anything, the fact that Caesar died improved a future episode.
Yes. Yeah, there's not, again, I think we've said all we can. We, obviously, as I said, his warrior mindset is amazing. I just love that he's like, don't ease my pain, JoJo, I want to die knowing that I failed. Kind of. That's very paraphrasing, but...
It is very paraphrased.
But that's what he means.
On a similar but different note, which is less of a review of the part, I do think they cast a voice actor very well for the dub, because I've watched both the dub and the sub, and the dub's voice actor is decent.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched the dub, so you can give some more info here than I can.
All of the I've watched the first 3 dubbed and subbed.
Yeah, so if you want to come back for part 3, then you can give some info there. I've seen clips, and I hate it, but I'm sorry, I just can't have JoJo sounding American. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, some of the misquotes though in the dub are so hilarious.
Yeah, is it? Alright, you're gonna have to help me here. I know this is part 3, but part 3, no one can deflect the Emerald Splash. Is that in both? Or just the dub?
No, that was just poor translation.
Oh. Wait, no, that wasn't poor translation. That was masterful translation.
No one can just deflect the Emerald Splash. Everyone who encounters the Emerald Splash proceeds to deflect the Emerald Splash.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. I mean, obviously Jotaro does it, and Dio kind of. I mean, Dio cheats though. I don't think that's very fair.
Although he does, no, because he does properly deflect it when he's in the car.
Yeah, he does. I'm sorry, but anyway, that's part 3. That's a little preview for if you want HeresyLlama back for the part 3 review. That's the trailer.
The trailer. If I appear again, we will have memes about the Emerald Splash.
Yeah. So that's all on Wamu. Shall we go on to?
Yeah, I'd say that's all on Wamu.
Shall we go on to Fire Guy, who kind of looks like a monkey? Not gonna lie. All right. He's my least favourite Pillar Man. I'll say that much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And by the way, when I say least favourite, I'm discounting Santana, because he's just not really in it. It's not that he sounds weird, I don't want to disrespect... I mean, he just kind of sound weird, I don't want to disrespect the voice actor, but his voice just doesn't fit with me, and also the fact that he cries to calm himself down, that just kind of takes away from the cool...
Well, actually, I quite like that because it does show the inhuman qualities of them. Normally in human society, in a fight like that era, that would be considered weird, but it does show how they aren't human. They are different. They have their own traits.
Good point, and I think that's why it weirds me out. So, this is why we work so well as a duo. I can come up with the scenario, then he can explain it for you, whereas I can't. So, please bring him back for part 3. Because, God, I'm going to need help with that. That's 48 episodes I have to cover. He dies first, which I think is interesting. They don't die in order of rank. It kind of shows that while they have ranks, they are of similar strength.
Yeah.
He's a master of fire. That doesn't come across immediately. But,
considering he actually uses a liquid for his mastery of fire.
Oh, yes. Big brain. His fight with JoJo is the first show that, despite them being insanely intelligent and very wise with all their experience, JoJo just having those few thousand years of history behind him gives him an advantage. Like, you might not think that's an advantage, but you got to take everything you can get. Because obviously, Sudase didn't know about sleight of hand. Yeah.
What happened there?
It just disconnected. Anyway, I was saying the fact that Sudase didn't know about sleight of hand is what let JoJo win, despite not having finished his training. Well, he kind of had, but either way.
Yes, JoJo's special ability, magic tricks.
Yeah. I also, he's Oh, like, he just shows that the Pillarmen are inhuman, you said with the crime, but he also just takes Logs' arm.
And his lungs.
Yeah, but like when Acidity loses his arm, he just... And, also he helps, like, show how strong JoJo is. Like, he just kills Logs, and Logs is meant to be better than JoJo, but then JoJo kills Acidity, and it's kind of like a whole, very epic.
Although what he did with his brain for me was very interesting, of how it does show that they can survive, like, outside, like, almost completely annihilated.
Yeah, for me, I mentioned in my part 1 review, Dio is that villain that always comes back. These guys would have been that villain if they could actually be bothered. But they can't be bothered, so... Yeah, I don't like what he did with the brain thing, it just seems, like, wrong. JoJo mentions that Wamu's the proud warrior type, and we see him fight fairly. And... honestly, the fight with Acidity, also fair, but then he does that, and it just... I know the point is that he drops all his pride to do it, but I still don't like that he does it.
Yeah, but I think I know the reason why he does it. I think it's kind of an attempt that, because let's be honest, in that form he probably wasn't going to survive, to regenerate. It was obviously a very temporary form. I think he did it just to try and get the redstone to his comrades, so at least they can live where he can't. Yeah,
so very noble of him in a weird sense. Obviously it's not, and I have no idea why Joseph says I respect him for that. But,
there are some interesting priorities.
Yeah. So, while I didn't like it, and obviously very disrespectful to JoJo's win, it also shows that he actually cares about the Pillarmen. Kaz is the only one without emotions. Let's be real. Wamu is kind of like, alright, I'm going to avenge Acidity. And then Kaz just says it would be disrespectful to Wamu to not give Lisa a weapon. But he doesn't mean it. Yeah. He's going to cheat either way, so... no point saying, oh, it'll disrespect one of my dead Pillarmen.
Yes. The secret ingredient is crime.
Yes. So, yeah, again, Kaz is the only one that we can say a lot on, really, because the other two, they don't really develop these guys much. It's another one of those villains where it's like, alright, they say they're evil, they kill a bunch of people to ensure they're evil, and then they die. It's a very interesting formula to go by. But, that is what most villains do in most animes, though.
Yeah.
They're said they're evil, they kill people, and then they die. So, shall we move on to Chainsaw Boy?
Yes, Discord light
mode. Alright, let's talk about cars. So this is, Vroom Vroom, I mean Cars. His style in, Eyes of Heaven is light mode, so obviously harnesses the power of Discord light mode. Maybe even your mum's phone's brightness, but we're not sure. That's still experimental.
Just to say, if any of you don't know about Discord light mode and use Discord, don't. It's not worth it.
Yeah, you're gonna need some replacement eyes after doing it. So yeah. Anyway. Cars?
Well, yeah, Cars is, he does demonstrate that he is a powerful Pillarman, especially with his, whole, early on, do you remember at the log cabin, how he pretty much kills everybody in that room without them being able to speak?
Yeah, that's what I was on about with the whole, they seem really strong. To start with, like, Cars does that, loads of weird powers, and then just never uses them in the... Like, it's weird. I don't know how his being able to cut people through walls thing works, but if it's a range, like just a ranged slice, why he didn't do that to kill Lisa or JoJo? I'm not talking in the Colosseum here. I'm talking in what was meant to be the one-on-one. I have no idea. But anyway, it's like something doesn't translate for me there. But it's like in part 5 they just drop the whole anything brought to life by Giorno deals reflects damage back to anyone who hits it, and the whole
Yeah, they do kind of forget that. But one thing I do think is with parts when Khan's blade, it is clear that technically Harmon can be conducted through it.
Yeah,
so I think that might be the reason why he doesn't use it against Lisa and JoJo.
I mean, it would take. Sorry.
It would leave him vulnerable.
Yeah, but I'm just talking like I don't know how it works, but if it is just a ranged attack, then conduction wouldn't be a problem because they wouldn't be able to grab it. He'd just and then a hole would open in their chest. But we need full understanding of that power. Maybe there's something to do with Harmon stopping them from being hit by it. Who knows?
I mean, early on you may remember the Harmon hair barrier in the fight against Santana that Joseph did.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
So it is clear Harmon can form a barrier.
Yeah, so it might be that because after knowing the Germans were killed through a wall, they might start doing that. You've got a good point. Also, I like the fact that he has the I don't know what to call it. What are they called? I'm just going to call it a turban. I know it's not a turban. The headdress. We'll call it the headdress.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, it definitely isn't a turban. Apologies to anybody who got upset by that. We didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah, I just don't know stuff. So the headdress, and then like when he takes it off, you're like, oh, oh god, this guy's getting serious now. Step back, everyone. Oh no. Oh. He's about to kill someone. Which it is a nice like. It's always nice to know when the villain's about to go absolutely insane. You like a good warning. Also, to say, like he shows the least abilities, but we hear he's the strongest. So I'm not sure how to think of his power scaling, but obviously he's the leader, so he must be very strong either way.
Yeah.
I just find it weird that von Stroheim could nearly kill him, though. Like, that's another one of those cases where Wamu and Acidise would have done way much better than.
Yeah, it is just abilities because the bone blade could cut the bullets, but it was first off surprising to him.
Yeah, so.
The fact that he had a machine gun that was firing armor-piercing rounds from his stomach.
Yes, a prime example of superior German science.
I mean, the standard place to fire bullets from.
Oh yeah. And also, we see his ruthlessness, which they always do with these villains. When he kills the child in the flashback for Wamu.
Same time, it is he does spare that puppy in that one throwaway scene. He saves that puppy.
Yeah, so he's like there's an emotion there, but it's never summoned. Like the puppy was cute though, so we can appreciate the fact that he saved puppy.
Yeah.
Puppy was cute. What do you think about him actually succeeding in becoming the ultimate life form and then dying literally 20 minutes afterwards?
Well, I don't think it was 20 minutes. I'd give it a bit more than 20. But I do think he did succeed, but Joseph was clever in what he did.
Yeah.
And he was clever too. He kind of mastered his abilities like immediately with the whole making armor or wings or tentacles or piranhas.
Oh yeah, he does do tentacles. I was like, hang on, when did he do that? But no, the plane, yeah. I just find it weird. They say he has 400 IQ, but then, like, he actually seems dumber. No, he's on the same. He seems on the same intelligence level that he was before using the mask.
I think the reason like it seems that is because he's cocky now.
Yeah, that might be.
I think he's won because in his mind, all he had to do was become the ultimate life form, and then he had no chance. It's the same issue Dio falls into repeatedly.
So, like, I feel like had he been thinking, he would have noticed, oh, this volcano's about to kill me. Even if I survive the actual lava, I will then cause an eruption. With 400 IQ, I think he'd think of that. But obviously, he thought he'd won, so there's that.
And I think it wasn't them prolonging their life. I think he thought he was the one in control and he was prolonging their life. Just to toy with them.
Also, he has rainbow harm, and you know when something goes rainbow, it's really powerful. He also says that, like, he's never touched Harmon before, and it's like 10 times better than Joseph and Caesar, who are both fully trained Harmon users, put together. Which, strange, but sure, you can do that if you want.
Well, I think his Harmon is more powerful, but it's not better. That's the key difference. He doesn't understand it enough to face up against his bubble launcher. And using only Harmon.
Yeah, obviously he would just
do a simple overdrive, which is what he tried to do, and the amount of power he put behind that.
Yeah, so it's kind of bittersweet. It's like he achieves the ultimate life form. He does what he wants, but the things he did to get there, he killed so many people, like too many. And then to say he has 400 IQ, he dies way too fast for me. I would have loved it if it was like, flash forward a year, Kaz is still out there trying to kill Joseph, and then he comes up with the volcano space thing, rather than...
I don't think a year. I think a year would be a bit more.
Like, alright, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Rather than him, I am the best thing ever, I have the answer to anything you can throw at me. 40 minutes later. Oh god, I just froze myself. Yeah, 400 IQ, definitely.
Well, to be fully honest, with the whole air thing, if he hadn't have frozen himself with the air, it would have just frozen him. He would have still got frozen, but it would have taken longer.
Good point. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, he could have no knowledge of space. Like...
He would have no reason to.
Yeah, he's only just woken up from a probably at least 2,000 year sleep. And humans hadn't even gone to the moon at that point, so... Yeah, he could have no knowledge of space anyway. What else? Also, like, I know this isn't a review, but do you think he could develop a stand had he met a stand user?
Possibly, yes. If he knew of their existence, then yes, I think he could have, mastered one.
Yeah, I mean, he probably already had one, just didn't know how to use it. Because, obviously, it takes in the abilities of every life form on the planet and then exceeds them. So... He probably already had a stand, and it was probably the most powerful stand in existence, like Golden Experience Requiem, only it wasn't Requiem. And it just didn't know how to use it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But also, Squirrel. Like, what? To show, ultimate being, ultimate life form, how do I show off my powers to these cowering humans? Squirrel.
Squirrel time, boys.
Yeah, doesn't like, I don't know, do the wing thing immediately.
Whips out the squirrel.
Yeah, that's weird, but anyway. That, yeah, that works, sure.
Also, we're just going to overlook the fact that von Stroheim was nearly taken down by a squirrel.
That's an oof. Speaking of von Stroheim, he's up next if you want to talk about a prime example of superior German science.
Good opportunity to move on.
Yeah, von Stroheim. You utter fool! German science is the world's finest! That's what that guy's famous for.
Yep.
We love him. Like, favourite character?
No, I don't like what he supports. He's a Nazi, so that is bad.
Yeah,
very
but
bad.
like, you know what I mean. Favourite character?
Yeah. No, he's not my favourite. I am.
No, he's not mine, but favourite in the part.
Still no.
Oh, for God's sake. No, he's not that good, but we like to make him seem amazing.
We make memes about it.
Yeah, I find it weird that, like, I feel like they're trying to bring some humanity to World War II. Obviously, Nazis terrible, but, like...
He's still Nazi scum. If you're a Nazi, die.
Jesus Christ. But they're still showing that, like, the German soldiers were humans either way. It was, like, people experienced having lost both sides.
One thing that did happen in World War II on the German side is that a lot of them had to do this because, like, otherwise their family would be killed, and a lot of people will be willing to sacrifice themselves but not their family, and that's a thing that is overlooked a lot.
Yeah, so they're trying to bring some humanity to the war, but they also make fun of how patriotic the Germans were all the time, and it's great.
Yeah.
So, I just find it strange that the Germans have so much technology, and yet the Nazis didn't win in JoJo canon, but anyway, I'm not complaining. I didn't want...
But, they did have quite an advance in technology in World War II.
Yeah.
The major issue was they kept advancing. First off, they researched occult things, like they said in JoJo. They did actually do that. It was really weird, and with their like tanks, they kept like adding new things and over-engineering them, so they couldn't make a mass-produced line. So eventually, they were outgunned.
Yeah, and also they tried to invade Russia. Never invade Russia. Anyway, we've talked about World War II, not von Stroheim, so von Stroheim. I don't like him at the start before he's the von Stroheim we know, and he's just an arrogant German captain or commander.
Yeah.
Don't like
Although
that
he does at least get his leg, he does at least willingly have his leg cut off and blow himself up with a stick grenade, so...
Yeah, that bit, I mean, like when we first meet him, and he's got a bunch of female servants.
Yeah, that bit, nobody likes him then.
Yeah. But as soon as he actually starts fighting Santana, then it's like good. And then he becomes one of the best characters.
When he pulled out a stick grenade.
Yeah, just carrying a casual grenade in your pocket.
With the carrying a casual thing, nobody's going to talk about the fact that in the Wamu fight where Wamu dies, JoJo has olive oil. Why does he have olive oil?
He probably thought about that before going into the fight, but yeah.
It still would have been funny seeing him pull out a bottle of olive oil.
Yeah. I just with von Stroheim, I like that he nearly kills cars. I think that's really cool. Like, German science is the world's finest, and it showed they took measurements on Santana and actually designed the cyborg body from that, and it's really... I just love him. I just... Why is he so cool?
He's a chaotic... I'd say he's chaotic neutral character.
And they're the best kind. That's D&D, by the way.
Not for a DM's perspective, please don't. Just do say a D&D thing. DMs refer to chaotic neutral as chaotic stupid.
Oh yes, the stupid. Yeah. Unfortunately, other than how great they are, there's nothing to say about these characters. They don't develop them in JoJo. That's probably the one problem I'll have across the board. They don't really develop the characters. They're just kind of the best characters straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Other than the main characters, they sometimes, if they can be bothered, give them an arc, but normally it's just an exponential upwards curve.
I'd say that they each do have personal arcs, though, just to do with their personality and how it shifts over, like, travels or adventures or things, like with the Crusaders.
Yeah, well, Von Stroheim has a mini one going from that arrogant, I'm not going to swear on the channel, to Von Stroheim. Like, that Von Stroheim from before, that's not Von Stroheim. Machine Gun guy, though, that's Von Stroheim.
He surprisingly died at Stalingrad, as they said in
Yeah. Well, alright, when I studied Germany in history, we didn't actually go into the battles. What happened at Stalingrad?
Stalingrad, well, pretty much the Germans had surrounded Stalingrad and were just keeping them in, and the people were starving.
Yeah.
And Stalingrad was a place in Russia. They renamed it now.
Okay.
But pretty much Russian reinforcements came and surrounded the Germans.
Wait a minute. But I like this. I like the bit where just like all the M16s and Uzis come out of his back.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic.
But that was pretty much what happened at Stalingrad, and the Germans lost that fight.
Yeah, but surprisingly he died. That's what I want to say. Like, granted almost beaten by a squirrel, but...
Yeah, but given his character, he probably just didn't give up, like...
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't have gone down without killing a few thousand Russians, but, But that's the problem. There were a lot more... The reinforcements were a lot more than a few thousand Russians. Yeah, but he definitely went down with a fight, we can guess that much.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where he died. So, I presume we're going to move on now because we have done a lot on Stroheim.
Yeah, that's because he's the best character. Alright, we've got Straight Sir.
Yeah, he's not better than Speedwagon.
Oh yeah, I forgot God exists. Anyway, yeah, let's talk about Straight Sir now. Okay, Vampire Boy. I feel like you suggested talking about him, so I feel like you have more to say than I do. So I'll let you.
First off, I really like the fact that they named the laser projectiles. Now I can only remember. I don't know if it was the same in the sub, but in the dub they called them Space Rippers Stingy Eyes.
Oh yes.
And that's just hilarious to me.
Genius.
But that fight was short, but at the same time you could feel like the fight, and it really did show off Joseph's abilities.
Funnily enough,
how he used trickery. I still don't know how he got the hand grenades.
Yeah, funnily enough, I'd say that was one of his best fights, like most outrageous, like Tommy gun, and grenades.
Where did he get the hand grenades from, though? Where?
Speedwagon?
Where did he... Speedwagon's like, here, child, have some hand grenades.
Yeah, I just like the, that's just to show how ridiculous JoJo gets for anyone who hasn't watched it before. That's what that fight does. That's like, this is called A Bizarre Adventure for a Reason, kid. Buckle up.
Like, the Tommy gun makes sense for the era, but he got hand grenades. Where did he get the hand grenade?
I don't know, but you mentioned him doing a full 180. I feel like you can elaborate on that since you brought it up.
Yeah. Well, originally he was a quite dedicated Harlan user, but it's kind of clear in the late, pretty much part 2, that he's not as like selfless as he acted to start with. He's quite a selfish character, and he was doing things for his own gain.
Yeah. Also, he's like, oh god, I'm scared of aging. 75 years on, looking like he's 30. Well, 40.
I wouldn't say 30. I'd give it a bit more, but
40.
yeah, 40 is good.
Yeah, and like, oh god, I'm gonna die. Tom Petty made it to 150, dude. You're fine.
Tom Petty wouldn't surprise me if Tom Petty just didn't die.
Yeah, I mean, that might be why Joseph's immortal. He just summons Harmon every now and again, just like, come on, put a few more years on, baby.
Yeah, but he also did survive multiple plane crashes, so I think he might just be immortal.
Yeah, he could be. I don't really have much to say on Straight, so I mean, he does just embody Dio. Like,
no, he does. He is similar to Dio, but he has like fixed Dio's obsession with testing himself and getting stronger and believing he'd already won.
Yeah, he fixed Dio's arrogance problem.
Yeah.
So he was Dio with minor improvements, but worse than Dio, because that's how that works.
Although he did lose to a damn shot glass.
Yeah. The power of vodka is unlimited. Yeah, he did actually kill himself, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Which, kind of like, to say he was like, I'm scared, I don't want to die, and then he kills himself is a bit strange. I can't remember exactly what he says, but...
Well, no, he just, I mean, in the dub at least he said something about wanting to, well, to quote him, he said, I've always planned on entering hell vibrant and full of energy.
That was in the dub.
Yes, that was in the dub.
That was definitely not in the sub, I definitely remember that.
I mean, he did admit that he's probably going to hell, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I might as well...
I mean, I can believe in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it's fun to think of it, like... that's just a good killer line, like, I'll see you in hell, and then... Even if you're an atheist, that's just cool, let's be honest.
It reminds me of the argument of, I hate people who say I'm going to hell because I'm gay. Are they ignoring all of the perfectly good reasons I'm going to hell?
Yes. Yeah. We joke about some things. Don't worry about it. Yeah, he does the complete 180. He attacks Speedwagon, how dare he? That's the lowest any character has gone in JoJo.
Even Dio didn't attack Speedwagon.
Yeah. That's the lowest you can go, I'm afraid. No, I think he went to hell because Speedwagon decided he was going to hell. Alright, so is that all we have on Straight So?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Alright, now I'm going to talk about what we're classifying as the Harmon side characters. So,
Yep.
we'll explain
Wait, we missed
it.
Smokey.
Pardon?
We missed Smokey. We need to do a bit on Smokey.
He's later, America's side characters.
Oh yeah, he's in the American side characters, I forgot.
Yeah, it's fine. Alright, Harmon side characters, let's do this. So, the Harmon side characters are Logs, Messina, Susie Q. Basically, we called them the Harmon side characters because they're the Air Suplina Island side characters. So none of them really have character, but they're there, so that means they're important.
Susie Q has I'd say quite a bit of character in the bits she's seen in part 3. And plus she does have bits of character we see.
Yeah, but that's part 3, this is the part 2 review.
Yeah.
I like a little flirty scene with JoJo. That's quite funny. That's before JoJo reveals his inner desires, I suppose.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. Although
Yeah.
she does have quite a case of face blindness, I'd say, because she couldn't figure out that it was JoJo because of just the mask missing.
Yeah, I wonder how she'd do in 2020.
Oh god. And you know quite well because she could remember people with the masks on. So I think she might be the master of memory in 2020.
Yeah. What character development? I mean, I kind of see her not sending the telegram as her not forgetting. She just wanted to spend time with JoJo.
Yeah.
That's what I see it as. I don't know if that's, like, Araki's intention, but she's definitely a bit clingy. I find their romance a bit random. It's kind of like, yo, what is up, my lady? I am going to so date you when I get back from killing these big buff guys. And then she kind of just goes with it. It's really weird, but
Generally, in real life, a lot of romance is random.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like that. It's not like literally, what is up? I'm just going to go to Switzerland, kill some people, and then come back.
And I think a solid past is just how much they've been through in like the past short period of time.
Yeah. What about Messina and Logs, though?
Which one of them dies immediately?
Logs.
Logs, yeah.
Yeah, Logs gets his lungs kicked out. That's an oof.
Also, in the dub, the line "lungs are vital for harmony" is said a lot, and like that implies they're not vital for everyone else.
Who needs lungs? Can you imagine? Alright, so again, not really character development. Messina actually survives the encounter with Wamu, and I thought he died, honestly.
So did I, actually. This is the first time I found out he survived.
Yeah, he was at the funeral.
Oh, yeah, funeral. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually survived that, so that's random.
It was Joseph's funeral that was attended by Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph is so immortal he attended his own funeral.
That's who I aspire to be one day.
I want to go out with a bang and then attend my own funeral and then go out with it and then become immortal. Yeah, sounds good. So,
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go.
Yeah, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to attend my own funeral.
Oh, that is a dream you've got there. Alright, so shall we move on to the America side characters? Do you have anything else to say?
The America side characters.
Alright, so in the America side characters we have God, otherwise known as Old Wagon. We have an amazing representation of Black Lives Matter and a really epic character, Smokey. And then we have God, but even older, otherwise known as Erina.
Yeah, Granny Irina's great.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best characters.
I love that she is the only person that can, like, control JoJo. Like, he's like, beats up cops, like, oh god, what's she gonna say?
The guy has been achieved.
Yeah, and then she's also like, normally, I would not allow you to beat up scoundrels, but he is racist, please, break his jaw.
End his life.
Yeah, and also, I'm good that she's all about the whole let's not be racist thing, even in the times when, in America, when racism was very big. So, good on you.
It is very big, which is an issue in our society, but she's great.
So, Erina, not racist, that's a good start. Also, whacks JoJo on the head for suggesting a relationship between her and Speedwagon. Also, respect that. You wanted to talk about Smokey a lot, so I reckon you have a lot to say on him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I do want to talk about Smokey because he's got a few important points. He is a good side character as he comes back in the later bits, which I like. The does several good things plot-wise. He gives exposition, he narrates early on, and also he has the first kind of not a proper JoJo fight, just somebody getting beat up. It started because of him because there was a racist idiot there. So that is these are some of the reasons why I like him as a character.
Yeah, so he kind of just kicks off the part. He's the first person. We meet Joseph first, but like we don't know that's Joseph. So.
And then he, logically steals his wallet.
Yeah. So he actually becomes the first
ingredient crime.
Yes. Crime. He becomes. It says in the epilogue. Yeah, epilogue. That he becomes first Black Mayor of Georgia, which I think is very epic. I doubt that's actually a real story just because of America at that time, but still, either way, thank you, Araki, for doing that. So, yeah. We haven't spoken about Speedwagon yet. Why haven't we spoke about Speedwagon yet? He's Speedwagon.
The best for last.
Oh, yeah. So Speedwagon, Robert E.O. God Speedwagon. So he's gone from living in the London slums to oil baron in America, because why not?
Things went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah. So, again, another side role. He's the he's the America side character that's there the most. He's in the most episodes of all the America side characters.
Like some important things going into the future in setting up the Speedwagon Foundation.
Yeah, Speedwagon Foundation, it's just kind of like, in any of the JoJo parts later on, it's kind of like, oh wait, we need this really expensive piece of technology to go kill someone. Yo, my man Speedwagon, what is up? Obviously he's dead by then, but you get the idea. So he's very useful. He's almost as reliable as Koichi.
He is.
Almost. I'm afraid Koichi is the most reliable guy, though. So that's part 4, by the way. So that'll be the last review we do.
Oh, you know something?
What?
Something awful.
What?
In the dub, for the when JoJo is supposed to say Koichi truly is a reliable guy, they don't say that.
What do they say?
I don't know, but I've seen a clip and it's wrong.
Oh my god. This is why we all watch the sub, guys, okay? You got that? Japanese. Yeah, understand? Good. Obviously, great job for the dub actors, but I'm afraid Japanese just sounds cooler.
Yeah.
Also, who decided Yami Yugi was going to play Bruno in part 5? Whose idea was that? Because his voice compared to the Japanese voice actor. I know you're not trying to replicate it, but come on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I did find out an interesting thing. Matt Mercer is the one who voices Jotaro in the dub.
And what's he done before? Should I know
Big
him?
in the D community, along with he does voice acting and things.
Okay.
He's voice acted in a lot. Plus, he's done the D&D series Critical Role.
Oh yeah, I think you've told me about that. Anyway, we're diverting. This is a JoJo review. We can talk about this after.
If you would, just to say, if you'd like a random video of us discussing stupid stuff, just say.
Yeah. Joint channel, link in the description. I'll be sure to do that. So
stupid stuff.
I think we just need to give this a tier list ranking now. So like talking about it now, you definitely improved my opinion of it. I was a bit disappointed. So it's a solid A tier, but do you want to move it to S tier? Because I'd be happy to put it in S tier.
I want to put it in S
Ding ding ding, we've got our first S tier thing I've reviewed, which is only JoJo parts at the moment, but anyway. We have our first S tier item. Yeah, I think I'm just going to tier list literally everything in the same tier list, or split it up. So anime, same tier list. Films, if I ever get onto those, same tier lists. And games, which I've tried to do before and it didn't work, but anyway. Games.
I feel the idea of doing it all on the same tier list is hilarious.
Yes,
like,
I'll do that then.
Things that make together well, Italian foods and JoJo Part 3.
Yeah. So, that's our first S tier. So anyway, as you can tell, this is going to be the end of the review. This is the longest one we've done so far, and this is the one I've enjoyed recording the most. So thanks for joining us, HeresyLlama.
It's fine, thank you for inviting me.
No problem, and also, if you're okay with it, I don't care what the comments say, you're coming back for part 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, alright.
I'll start watching part 3.
Yeah, I need to get on that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. As I said before, subscribe, like, comment if you like HeresyLlama. And obviously, he's coming back either way, because I like him, but do you guys like him? What do you think of our opinions? Do you disagree? Were we controversial? I feel like we mainly stayed on the good side of things. Twitch, link in the description. I do Mario speedrunning. Joint channel, link in the description. We've got another JoJo video planned for that, and we can just do that, us talking about stupid stuff for 30 minutes thing.
And also, I'm going to get back into uploading videos on YouTube, so expect weird and probably bad things.
Do you want me to link your channel as well, or are you living on the joint now?
I'm doing it joint channel.
Alright, so if you want to see HeresyLlama do his own videos, that is also joint channel. Subscribe, like, I know I've already said that. Ring the bell to be notified when the next review goes up. Next review, if I do one, Super Mario Odyssey. I know I said that last time, but we're going to finally review Super Mario Odyssey. Spoilers, it's definitely A or S tier. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.